Hello, what's up guys? I'm Kyle from KGR, and this is a chunk of my PS1 collection. I also have a few more games in this little Finding Nemo case right here. Now, probably talking to me in the comments, or talking to yourself, because people are weird like that. Probably saying, Kyle, that's not a lot of games you got there. You call that a collection? A few things. One, shut up.
Hey! Shut up!
Number two, people have been wanting to see this collection for a while now. Now, this is not a collection to write home about. This is just a collection that I had of games either I had since I was a kid, games I've re-gotten as a kid, or just a couple of games I just added to the collection. There are plenty of games I still want to add to my PS1 collection, so maybe in a year or two when hopefully my budget expands, also when I move out so I actually have more room to collect more games, who knows? I actually might buy some more PS1 games. We'll see what happens. So if you're new, subscribe, because there's probably going to be a follow-up to this video in another year or two. Let's see how much fatter I get in those couple of years. So I'm going to go over the games I have on, like, almost complete. There's a mixture of complete games, loose games, mixture of both. Some games with a case, but no manual or anything like that. I don't know. Point is, true die-hard PS1 game collectors are gonna hate this video because this is games that were loved as a child, and you can tell a child had. But at the end of the video, I'll go over some of the games I do want to get. I'm probably gonna forget some, so I'm not gonna say all the games I want, but some of the games I want. So let's start off with the game that made me love the PlayStation so much to begin with, and that is Crash Bandicoot. For those who have been subbed to this channel for a long time, you all know how much I love Crash Bandicoot. I'm gonna be real with you, I'm probably never gonna visit the PS1 originals again. At least not very much, because the Insane Trilogy, I'm just so in sync with that now. And I mean, maybe I might give this a good try every once in a while, but playing so many different Crash games, they all play so differently, so I gotta relearn the controls again, like the physics, I mean. It's a fun time. Next up we got Crash 2. Crash 2 is probably one of my favorite Crash games out of the original trilogy. It's a tie between 1 and 2, but I think I like 2 just a little bit more. The amount of action figures I bought of Crash since I was a little kid. Oh, man. Next up, we got Crash Warped. I loved it a lot as a kid, but playing it from start to finish as an adult multiple times over, this ended up being my least favorite in the trilogy. There's just too many gimmicks for me, and I don't like them as much as I used to anymore. Next up, we got Crash Team Racing. This is a classic, and it does show its age. Visually, it shows its age. Like the low polygon count is wow. But the physics, though, is god tier. In fact, my dad used to play this with me as a kid. Next up, we got Crash Bash. Crash Bash, I remember I heard about this game because I think I rented or I bought Spyro Year of the Dragon, and I saw a code for it in the book, and I'm like, another Crash game that I don't have? We gotta fix that, so we bought it. I remember I enjoyed the games as a kid so much on this, but I will never play this as an adult, I don't think. Unless there's a way for me to unlock everything immediately, like if I find like a hacked save file or something like that. But I am not beating this genuinely. I do not have the patience for that, so no. I think the pogo stick game as a kid always baffled me, and I never understood it as a kid. Next up, we got a couple of, I'm not gonna say classics because I'm not sure how many people love this game. Some of you might. That is Croc 1 and Croc 2. I used to love these games as a kid. I don't think I'd play them again though as an adult. The tank controls, wowie zowie, they are wow. Who knows? Maybe one day I actually might try and sit down and actually complete this game. When I run out of games to play, this will be on the collection. It'll be on the wall, the library, the backlog. Next up, we got Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX. This is more of like my brother's games before I owned it myself. Like my brothers had it, don't know what happened to it, so I bought myself another copy for us. And the only thing I remembered the most out of this was playing the first level, hearing what I got, and also playing as the Slim Jim guy. If you don't know who the Slim Jim guy is, You're too young. You know what? I'm gonna ask my girlfriend if she knows the Slim Jim guy. That might not go well. Alright, next up we got Digimon Rumble Arena. I only have the disc for this. Now, I wasn't that much of a Digimon kid, to be honest. Remember, I had Digimon World 3 as a kid that my friend got me for my birthday, I believe. And it was a great game. I never beat it, though. I always restarted it, because why not? And I kind of wish I had that game again. But Digimon Rumble Arena, though, this game is god tier. Like, I mean, actually, I'm pretty sure, like, it's not that critically great. But I had so many memories with this game. I loved it so much as a non-Digimon fan. I think I paid probably like 15 bucks for this game as just a loose disc like this, because I wanted this game that bad. My original copy as a kid just stopped working, sadly, and I hope one day I can get a copy of Digimon World 3. I never played the other ones, just 3. This one I got a little bit over a year ago, and this is not a game that I've had as a kid, but I felt like I had to get it at this point, and that is a copy of Final Fantasy VII, because it's one of the best games ever. When it comes to Final Fantasy VII, I hold it in the same regards as Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I did not grow up with it, but I see how much people love it, including some of my best friends, and I see them play it, and I respect how much they love it. I give the games a fair shot, but I cannot get sucked in. But when the remake came out, oh boy, that got me excited. And that was going to be the way I learned the story. Even though, light spoiler, the remake isn't going to be true to this. But I felt like I owed myself this copy. Like, I think for a while, like, this game used to fluctuate in price all the time. Like, the highest I seen it was probably like $60 or so. And when we were selling it at the video game store that I used to work at the time, we were selling it for like $25 to $30, depending on how everything looked. I can't remember how much I paid for this, but I paid stupid cheap for this, to a point where it'd be stupid for me not to get it, because we were trying to clear out our inventory. And hey, speaking of Final Fantasy, hey, I want to replay that game again, actually, the remake. So if you want to see me play the remake, subscribe, because I'm going to stream it on PS5, baby. Next up is a game that I had as a kid, but I actually repurchased this one because I wanted it, because I had money at the time, and that is Hot Wheels Turbo Racing. You're probably thinking about this game, you're like, what the fuck is Hot Wheels Turbo Racing? Well, it's Hot Wheels, and you're racing, and sometimes you get turbo. The main thing, I love the tracks in this game so much. And the one thing I loved out of this game that I had the strongest memory of was hearing Fuel from Metallica. And I remember I used to have like some of the actual cars in this game as real Hot Wheels, so that got me excited. Because I loved having physical things I could hold in my hand from a video game. And I still do that to this day. Playing as an adult, it's not the best. It's still fun though. Next up we got Metal Gear Solid VR missions. This just came into the store that I was working at one day, and I'm like, you know what, I'll buy it. Screw it. I remember I used to have Metal Gear Solid as a kid, and I no longer have that. And I really wish I did, because I used to love that game. I don't think it's that too expensive of a game. It's probably like $15 at most, maybe. I can't remember. I haven't been in the used game market in over a year. A lot can probably change in a year. But we'll see what happens. Eventually, that's going to be one of the games I try to pick up as well. But I remember I had a good time with VR missions as a kid. And I rebought it as an adult. Might have played it once. I don't have much memory of doing so. Next up, we got ourselves a really beat up copy of Namco Museum Volume 3 featuring Miss Pac-Man. I used to love, with a burning passion, the Namco Museum series on PlayStation. And it wasn't the fact that it was a collection of retro games. No, that barely had anything to do with my love for this game. Honestly, I love the fact that it was an actual museum, that you could see the merchandise and the history and all that stuff. As a kid that was in elementary school playing this, by the way, I loved seeing the history and the merchandise, especially the merchandise of Namco games. Even there was a library where you had like magazine covers and stuff like that. Like I loved looking through the museum in this game. And I remember I had Namco Museum on the Game Boy Advance, and I thought it was going to be the same experience on the go. No, It's just Namco games. And I was very disappointed because there was no museum. And as an adult, it took me, I don't know how many years to find out that there are 5 volumes in this. I only found 2 through my whole life. Only Volume 1 with Pac-Man and Volume 3, the Miss Pac-Man. I have no idea where the other 3 are. Next up, God tier game. I can't remember exactly if this is my childhood copy, which I highly doubt it is, but I hope it is. And that is Rayman. How many of y'all heard of Rayman? No, let's be real. A lot of you probably heard of Rayman, but how many of y'all actually played the OG Rayman? This was a game that my mother used to play with me. She also played Crash Bandicoot with me, but this game she used to work her ass off on as well. I never beat this game. My mom actually got farther than I did. How did she do it? Couldn't tell you. But the best part about this game is the soundtrack. This game will punish you, but damn does it have some good music. And the fact that Rayman came back during like the PS3 era, so we got Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends as well, like, it made me happy. And I also had Rayman 2 on the PS2, and I loved it to death. But this game was always my top tier. Like, this game is... I'm never gonna beat this game, let's be real. But if you want to see me stream this game, let me know in the comments. I want to hear your voice. I want you to let me know that you want me to play this. But I'll fair warn you, if you don't like swearing in a stream, you're not gonna want to watch this. Next up is another God tier game, which I streamed this recently, probably in the past couple of months, and it's still a God tier game. That is Rugrats: The Search for Reptar. It's funny that I bring this up because just the other day at work, we were actually talking about this game. This game is still a masterpiece. There's probably a few things that don't age well, like control-wise, but my rose-tinted glasses are on full blast because this game is still amazing. Even some of the friends that I either met recently and who loved this game as a kid, or even friends that I grew up with, or even my viewers when they saw me stream this game, we all love this game to death. Next up is actually shout out to my old buddy Chris. He sold me this copy of Running Wild on PS1 from the producers of Crash Bandicoot. That was honestly one of the things that got me sold onto it, but I played a demo to this a long time ago as a kid, and I don't think I have that demo disc anymore, sadly. But I remember I had a blast playing this game, and I still have yet to actually plug this in and play it again. Now that I actually have it, like, on physical, like a full retail game, I'm probably never gonna play this. But God, I kind of do want to play this. I'm pretty confident none of y'all are even gonna know what this game is, and I wouldn't blame you if you didn't know what this game was. But eventually, I need to play this. But I guarantee you, maybe 2 people will watch that stream. Next up, this is a game that I had as a kid, but I recently bought around the same time that I bought Final Fantasy VII. That was SpongeBob SquarePants Super Sponge. I also had a SpongeBob game on the Game Boy Color that I no longer have, which eventually I'll rebuy because adult money. But I don't remember myself getting very far in this game. I remember it was kind of graphically impressive at the time, but it was a $6 game. I paid probably nowhere close to that because we were trying to clear out the inventory. But man, actually no, I take that back. I'm not sure how good this game really was. Remember, a lot of the Nickelodeon games as a kid actually weren't that bad. I had a Wild Thornberrys game as well. I can't remember how good that game was, and I'm not sure if I want to revisit that. I think some things are better left as a memory. Next up is a game that one of my best friends, childhood best friends, his mom had this game, and I used to play this that way. And that is Tetris Plus. It's Tetris, but you have, I don't know, an archaeologist? Is that who he is? I don't know. You gotta get him to the bottom somehow. You don't have to worry too much about clearing all the lines. You just gotta make sure he has an escape route before, I think it was spikes from the top come down and crush him. It's an interesting game. but I loved the idea of it. And I played it again when I got this, and I don't think I played much of it after that. It might be a chill stream type of game, but it's definitely not a full playthrough type of game. And if you had a PlayStation, you had either brothers or cousins who had PlayStations, you were exposed to this game. I don't care what you say. We all had a little bit of a taste of Tony Hawk in our lives. We all heard Superman by Goldfinger. We all know that song. It's like that and What I Got from Dave Mirra. Those were songs that were implanted in all of our heads. But that is all the games I have in cases, for the most part. Now, let's open up that little sleeve thing and check out some loose games. Yeah, now that's a true collector right there. And the first game we're gonna look at, opening this thing up, is Pac-Man World. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but Pac-Man World, yeah! I remember loving Pac-Man World as a child. I'm pretty sure it still holds up to this day. I played a little bit of 2 when I rented that from Blockbuster. I still have for those who don't know, I have a Blockbuster sign on the other side of this camera, and that's a blast from the past now, isn't it? But I haven't played it since I've gotten this copy, but I really need to. I don't know, guys, let me know in the comments, like, at any point of the video, what games you want to see me stream. Next up, we got Casper. Now, Casper, this is one of my favorite PS1 games of all time. I love Crash Bandicoot, and I also love Rugrats, but this is also a cult classic for me. It's not a good game at all. In fact, I've never beaten this game, and I'm not sure when or if I'll ever beat this game. One of my good friends, Noyan, shout out to Drunk Psyduck. He hasn't been in my chat in forever. Bro, get back in my chat. Anyway, he beat this game, and I don't know how he did it. I don't know if he looked up a guide or what the hell he did. I cannot figure out for the life of me how to beat this game. It is a giant puzzle game, okay? You are Casper from the movie, by the way. From the movie, going through the mansion. It is a blast. And the music, I used to love the music in this game a lot, too. Oh yeah, on the other side of that, we also got Ape Escape. Now, I never owned Ape Escape as a child. I also got this from the same store that I used to work at. But Ape Escape was one of those games I had as a demo, and I loved the demo. So I got the full game as an adult, and I got somewhat far in it. I didn't get too far, but I played enough to really love the series, and I want to play the second game on PS2, which I can do because of PlayStation Now on my PS5, which I don't know when I'm going to do that, but eventually I will. But it's definitely a cult classic. I think this game should definitely be remade. I would love to see the series continue, but we'll see what happens. Ha ha ha! Another classic. Toy Story 2 on PS1, baby. Let's go. Every once in a while, there are some games that I will play at least once a year. Then there's some games I will play not as often, but I still love playing it nevertheless. Crash. Toy Story 2 is definitely one of those games. And on the other side, we got Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. Now this is, like, both of these games are my childhood copies. Casper's my childhood copy. Pac-Man World is not. But Oddworld is one of my childhood games. I never beat it. I always had to restart because I was never good at it. But my mom had me play it so much. Like, at least she was watching me play it so much. So sometimes, if you played Oddworld, you will know he's like, hello, hello, follow me. Okay. So if I say that to mom, she'll completely get it. In fact, she'll actually help me complete that little, I don't know, not the phrase, the reference, I guess. I don't know. My mom was very supportive. Next up, we got Bugs Bunny Lost in Time. There's some things in this that kind of remind me of Crash 4. No lie. I believe I borrowed this from my brother's friend and never gave it back. He never wanted it back. If he wanted it back, he could have taken it back. I'm 27 now. And I think I did this in elementary school. Yeah, I think this game is mine now. I'm pretty sure this game is also one of those cult classics. I haven't played it since I was a kid, so I'm not sure how well it ages. I'm pretty sure it has those tank controls that aren't the best, but Pretty sure a lot of people still love this game, right? Oh no, then we also got a CD interactive sampler disc. This is a demo disc, and it's purple. I like purple. This sampler includes demos. See, I told you. Remember I used to have demos from like Pizza Hut, PlayStation Magazine, maybe PlayStation Underground as well. I can't remember what all demos I had, but I had a lot of demo discs, and I wish I had them all. Well, there is a good chunk in here, though. Next up, speaking of, some PlayStation Magazine demo discs. We got the November 1999 one, number 26, and the May 2000, number 32. Yo, can I actually, like, try and complete that collection? I think that would be fun to actually try and finish all the PS1 collection, like the PS1 demos collection, because I think that'd be fun. And then a couple empty slots, and Spyro the Dragon, the first one. I used to have Spyro Year the Dragon physically. I don't know what happened to that, but this copy of Spyro doesn't work anymore. There's like too much damage to like the front of it that like there is no fixing that. I have Spyro Reignited Trilogy. I have a PlayStation Classic that I can emulate games on that way, which, by the way, is not a good way to do it. I emulated Rugrats on the PlayStation Classic, and that turned out horribly. Like, it would not load some cutscenes properly or at all. And I remember I went into the kitchen in the beginning of the game, and I found a broken Angelica in a T-pose. Yeah, that's a good hardware for you. But yeah, that's pretty much my PS1 collection. There's still plenty of games I want to get again. Remember as a kid, I had games like Toy Story Racer, I had Emperor's New Groove, and Digimon World 3, like I said earlier. Spot Goes to Hollywood, I would love to have that game again. I don't know what all games I want to re-get, but those are a good chunk of them that I do want to re-get. They're definitely on my top tier list. Let me know in the comments, what are some of your favorite PS1 games that you loved as a child, or some that are probably worth good money in your collection. I don't have a lot of games that are worth a lot of money, which honestly I don't really care about, because I want to get games that I personally enjoy. Did I play Toomba? No. Did I have a demo for Toomba? Maybe. I don't know. Do I have Klonoa? No, I don't have that either. Do I plan on getting that? No, not really. I want to get games that I enjoyed as a child, because for me it's just a nostalgia machine, and it's hard for me to have nostalgia for games I never played or never really cared about. So if anything, that saves me a lot of money. But anyway, like I said, let me know in the comments. Well, I guess let me know what games you want me to stream. What was the coolest games that you liked in my collection? What are some of the games that you loved as a kid? All that jazz. But also, I guess look forward to a part 2 in a year or two. I don't know when I'm gonna update my collection, because I don't know how often I'm gonna buy PS1 games, to be honest. But that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for watching, and if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description, there's a social media. I don't advertise my TikTok on there, but if you have TikTok, follow me on there. I play a lot of Guitar Hero. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I love you guys to death, and I'll see you on the next one, so peace.